more than happy that this plan is working for many of you. You know, if you don't get through the front door, we're gonna get through the side door. We're gonna go under, over. We're gonna figure out a way to make sure that we get in.
That's kind of the
You
main
know,
point.
if you don't get through the sorry, I had to mute myself here. Okay, so the way I want to start today, because I actually have an honored guest coming. It was a spur of the moment. So I might be checking my phone, making sure he's good. Yeah. I want you to hear this guy's story because it's so inspirational. This is a full-time music guy, music licensing. He created his own path, and I just find it so uplifting to be able to see someone walk the walk. And so he's coming on in about 15-20 minutes. Before we get into it, though, I just want to connect with you and make sure you guys understand a couple things. So, number one, welcome to the Mastermind. As always, very excited to be here. I feel like I'm gonna explode right now. Let's start with the quote: "Genius is but a will to do little things with infinite pains. Little things well done open the door for opportunity for bigger things." When I was first getting into Logic and I had a crack, Logic 9, almost 7 years ago. My anniversary is November 21st. I didn't I wasn't aware. I did the best I could. I just knew I had a dream in my heart. I knew I could do music. I knew I could get contracts. I knew I could get publishing deals. I didn't know how it was going to happen. It wasn't until I got the certification. It wasn't until I started paying attention, guys. I started reading all the books. You know, here's the latest one. This is my 10th Logic book that I've read. I've watched, I don't know, 80-90% of the content out in the world, not just in one site, in the world on Logic. I started taking it serious. I started committing myself, my whole being, everything I am, everything that I've known. I gave myself to it. There wasn't any reservations. And so that's what I'm proposing here with you is make sure that you give your life to it so that as you put in the detail, as you put in the work, as you are more meticulous, the little things well done will open the door for bigger things. I just signed this deal with LearnQuest, who's an Apple training provider. It looks like they're going to start licensing the material that I've created. Most of it I've created with you guys, Eldon, DBP, a couple of other people here. And I said it long ago. I said people are going to be licensing my materials. DVP, remember that? People are going to be licensing my materials. I kept saying it over and over again. I wasn't even sure why I was saying it, to be honest. I just kept saying it. It's going to happen. Good things are happening. Good things are happening. We got the Beat Academy deal a month or two ago, and here we are with the Learn Quest deal. And I wonder what's next. I'm so curious. So we have another week, maybe two. I don't even know what the date is, nor do I care. I want you to stay in action. For those of you that are still in this, that are still trying to find a way, I've kind of increased the stakes a little bit. And if you want to be a part of this, whoever submits the most music, who's more productive, this doesn't mean you have to write everything yourself. Remember, if you have a non-exclusive, right? It just depends on how you want to do it. The point is whoever's in action is going to get a special deal from me. I'm going to personally usher you in to one of my connections, and I'll let you kind of start working with them. And this is money that can be created today. If for whatever reason you didn't get accepted and you want another way, support at hfmusicacademy.com. Let us know and we will help you find a way. Again, over, under, left, right, whatever it takes. We're going to get in there. We're going to make it happen. Okay. So I'm super excited about this. If you need support, hit us up here and let's get it done. We got 2 more weeks. I want to see what you're made of. I want to see what you're made of. Now, again, I have a call coming up, so I gotta take care of some important things kind of right from the get go. Hey, Robert, are you on? Yeah, I do want you to get on because our guy's gonna come on in 15 minutes or something. Let me know when you do. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. The power of concentration. We're gonna get into it first because this interview that we're gonna have is going to elevate you, and perhaps you're gonna see yourself in my friend Marshall, who's gonna be on. And when you see yourself in another, then you start to believe that you can do it. And that's what I'm looking for the conviction, for the belief, for the understanding that you can do it. It's not enough just to be in action. It's not enough just to study. It's not enough just to talk about it. You have to believe it. in your heart of hearts. So here we go. The mental demand. DBP, take it away, fine sir.
Hey, the mental demand must be directed by every power of the mind, and possible elements should be used to make the demand materialize. You can so intently desire a thing that you can exclude all distracting thoughts. When you practice this singleness of concentration until you attain the end sought, you have developed a will capable of accomplishing whatever you wish.
As long as you can only do the ordinary things, you will be counted in the mass of mediocrity. But just as quick as you surpass others by even a comparatively small measure. So you don't even have to do that much more, guys. All you have to do is surpass others by a comparatively small measure. You are classed as one of life's successes. So if you wish to emerge into prominence, you must accomplish something more than the ordinary man or woman. It is easy to do this if you will but concentrate on what you desire and put forth your best effort. It is not the runner with the longest legs or the strongest muscles that wins the race, but the one that can put forth the greatest desire force. You can best understand this by thinking of an engine. The engine starts up slowly, the engineer gradually extending the throttle to top the notch. It is then keyed up to its maximum speed. The same is true for of runners, two runners. They start off together and gradually they increase their desire to go faster. The one that has the greatest intensity of desire will win. He may outdistance the other by only a fraction of an inch, yet he gets the laurels. The women that are looked upon as the world's successes have not always been women of great physical power, nor at the start did they seem very well adapted to the conditions which encompass them. In the beginning, they were not considered men or women of superior genius, but they won their success by their resolution to achieve results in their undertakings by permitting no setback to dishearten them, no difficulties to daunt them. Nothing could turn them or influence them against their determination. They never lost sight of their goal. In all of us, there is this silent force of wonderful power. If developed, it can overcome conditions that would seem insurmountable. It is constantly urging us on to greater achievement. The more we become acquainted with it, the better strategists we become, the more courage we develop, and the greater the desire within us for self expression in activity along many lines. And let me get a volunteer here, please. Come on, guys, chime in.
I'll go.
Thank you.
The person that never wants anything gets little. To demand resolutely is the first step toward getting what you want. No person will advance to any great extent until he recognizes this force within him. If you have not become aware of it, you have not made very much of a success of your life. It is this something that distinguishes that man or woman from other men or women. It is suitable power that develops strong personality. If you want a great deal, you must demand a great deal. Once you make your demand, anticipate its fulfillment. It depends upon us. We are rewarded according to our efforts. The power of mental demand can bring us what we want. We become what we determine to be. We control our own destiny. Get the right mental attitude, then in accordance with your ability, you can gain success. And every man or woman of average ability, the ordinary man that you see about you, can be really successful, independent, free of worry, his own master, if he can manage to do just two things.
All right, thank you, Justin. And I'll read those two things. First, remain forever dissatisfied with what you're doing and with what you have accomplished. Second, develop in your mind a belief that the word impossible was not intended for you. Build up in your mind the confidence that enables your mind to use its power. Fantastic book. I can't get enough of it. It's just it points the way, guys. I used to be a personal trainer. Geez, I can't get over it. I can't stop talking about it because one day EJ is going to say, I used to be a, and DBP is going to say, I used to be a, and everyone's gonna have their story, and I'm looking for it. I'm ready for it now, guys. I'm fired up because someone's gonna do it. $10,000 check, $5,000 check, $500, $2.75. I got so excited when I made 36 cents from music. What's the name of that company? Music something. I saw it in my my statement the other day, and I was like, yes, 36 cents. But I also got very excited when I saw the $500 one as well. So um, you can do it. Okay. We got to get in action. We have to get into a rotation. It's going to look a little bit different for each and every one of you. Like for Justin, you're probably going to have like 5 companies that you work with, and that's kind of your bag, right? And then for DBP to get across the finish line, he has to do 60. That's just the way his layout is. That's just the, you know, and then for Chuck, he's got like, he works with 2 big clients, right? Or I don't care what it looks like, but the point is you have to find your angle, the way that you do this, okay? And then you're going to tell us your story, and we're going to learn from you. We're going to take some notes, and then we're going to try again. And perhaps we can reach greater levels of achievement. Perhaps we can attain more. You think I'm satisfied with this? You think this is enough for me? Like, I was in my wife's closet, and to think what else is possible. If I got to this point in 6 years, almost 7, what else can I do? I'm so elated and so pumped up about this, guys. My heart is like literally almost gonna just explode out of just the excitement that I have in my being. And I'm so eager to hear your story. I'm eager because it's gonna happen. Like I just know it, like it's just gonna happen, just like DBP has been doing his thing, and just shining. Chris Baggs, Chris Chrisman, EJ's about to do some great things. You guys don't even know yet. You guys don't even know yet, but he is. I promise you. So, that being the case, is our guest here yet? Yes, he is. No, yes, that's him. Okay. We're going to let our guest in. I'm pumped up. If you guys need me, I'm here for you. Oh, man, it feels good, guys. It feels good on the other side. Get it. Get yours. Get yours. All right, here's Mr. Marshall Usinger. Is that how you pronounce your last name, dude? I don't even know how to pronounce your last name. I've known you for a long time. Marshall, where you be? Uh, I saw him come in. Let me see. No, no, no.
He's there.
Okay, maybe he's just working out his. Okay, so as he's setting up, this is a gentleman that I met a couple of years ago, and I was already in full flight. There he is. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? How's it going?
How do you pronounce your last name? Is it Usinger?
Usinger. You got
Okay,
it.
cool.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to HF Music Academy, man. It's so good to see you. This guy is a
My name's Marshall, by the way. Sorry, it says my wife's name on the.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm Marshall.
Do you want to change that? We can change it. Here, I got you.
Nah, it's all good. I don't know.
Cool.
She uses Zoom more than I do, so yeah.
There you go. All right. So we met through a mutual acquaintance. Do you remember that? Where you had your contacts, I had mine, and then I had an opportunity to submit for a main title. I forgot the name of the show, but it was like a hunting show or something. And you just came out of nowhere. Like your song, just penetrated through all the songs that I got, and you landed that main title. And I'll never forget just like the velocity, like the way you did it. It's like it was almost like as if you kind of told everybody, get out of the way, and you claimed your space in the music industry, dude. And I just kind of wanted to share what you're up to. How did you get here? But most of all, forgive my enthusiasm, man. I'm really pumped up today. But most of all, the mindset. Like, what does it take for somebody to really make it in music industry, music licensing, just in music in general, man? I want to hear more about your story and the come up. So if you could share like a little bit just about the mindset, and then we'll get into your background. I just want to know what your take is on the mindset. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, and thanks for having me, man. And I'm happy to meet y'all, and it's surreal to be just talking about how I got here, because it's been I've been kind of really pursuing it for almost 5 years now. and while it's gone by quickly, it's you know, it's definitely been a grind. And so making the transition from what Eddie just talked about, doing that title, I literally just got into music licensing, and I didn't know much about it, and I kind of made this track, and they liked it, and so it was a bit of a blur. But you know, at that time, of course, I still had a full-time job, and so I was working really hard at just making as much music as possible, just regularly, making it a rhythm of creating almost every day, just to kind of get better at using, you know, using Logic and my production tools, and becoming more familiar with my workflow and things like that. And over the next few years, you know, I've easily made probably 300 to 500 tracks over that time, and eventually started working with libraries, with music libraries. So that was kind of what allowed me to get to this place. With just the mindset, I think you kind of have to you have to just really stay focused on just each day. And it would be easy for me to get discouraged looking at, you know, comparing myself to others and thinking I should be in a place where I wasn't yet. But just day by day, noticing things that you're improving on, or little areas, you know, I noticed I was becoming better in, and then your peers start to notice that too. And you know, Eddie and I would work on projects together here and there, and it kind of just, here I am like 5 years later, and I in a way, I know how I got here, but I also don't, because I just kind of kept my head down and kept at it and kept making the best music as I could. And I think in this whole time, I've really just remained true to myself as a musician, and who I am, and pouring myself into the music, not trying to make it something that I thought it should be because it, you know, sounded like someone else or had to measure up to a certain standard. I tried to remain true to myself the entire time, and I think that's got me. That's what landed me the title. I think, Eddie, is like, you know, I didn't. I just put myself into it and try to do anything, and I just really put my whole heart into that, and who I was and my music. And I think that's probably why I got it, and that's how I got here now,
Well,
I think, man. So yeah.
and you don't have to be specific, because obviously I respect, you know, what you need to do and all that. But I just want to be clear: this man has recently bought a home for his family and himself. You made, I'll just say, 5 figures with some of the deals that you've done. I mean, big, monumental stuff that you never even thought was possible. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
And I'm so, yeah, I'm so grateful and thankful to be doing that right now. And I had no idea that those possibilities were even out there, you know, and I didn't know that was a thing, being able to bring in an income. And I feel like a lot of it is relationships, and a lot of it is who you know. But over time, over the last 5 years, I've built some amazing relationships that have taken me through some harder times, and also just continued to sustain and become better. So yeah.
So, and I want to talk about some of those little tough moments without giving away too much. But before, let's go back. Let's go back. So, Marshall, you picked up a guitar. You heard an artist. Like, what? How did it click? Right? What's your story? What's the origin?
the the shortest and best version is that I did what a lot of guys do and played in bands, and then I got really into instrumental music. Probably, I don't know, quite some time ago, like in my early 20s, we'll call it, and got into film music. And so I was really into just how those two paired together, and I got really into guys like Max Richter and those guys who score stuff, and then bands like, you know, Sigur Rós and This Will Destroy You, and kind of really heavy post-rock bands, where I felt like I could implement my guitar playing, and started wanting to make music like that. So I had no prior knowledge of using Logic Pro. I actually worked for Apple before I made the full-time jump to doing this. So I got Logic for free because I worked for Apple. and just started trying to learn Logic. So at the time Eddie and I met, I did not know what it meant to send stems or anything like that. So I probably sent him some cool files. But that's how I got into just wanting to make music that had, you know, the additional visual element, whether it was a film or you know, even a commercial or whatever the media project might be. I found I was really inspired by that when they paired well together, and that's kind of why I wanted to just get more into it.
And I'm gonna play a song here in a second, but can you help me understand, like, because I think a lot of people in this industry are curious about that jump, you know, that leap of faith. When do you
Hmm.
do it? How do you do it? When's the right time? I want to know if you can talk about your experience when you decided to jump. Again, no need. You don't have to get into specifics, but I want people to kind of hear your approach and the way you rationalized everything.
Hmm.
Because you
Yeah,
worked full time for Apple, right? You had a full time job with Apple. Okay.
yeah, I did, and yeah, that was definitely a challenging decision. I mean, quite honestly, I was pretty miserable in my job, and I was working from home with Apple, and it was a pretty solid job. Like I would always say, you know, if you're a guy who can do a 9 to 5, like that was a perfect setup. I had my studio was right there, but that corporate setting is just not for me personally. So that was in 2017. It was towards the end of 2017 that I made that leap. So I had been kind of pursuing production for about 2 years. One thing that the main factors in the decision were I had enough monthly income coming in from music. I knew at least that I could pay my bills and feed my family with. So I knew that, okay, you know, you take Apple out of this equation, I'm able to have this. And then also I have 40 hours a week now to be making music more. So I knew that in the end was going to pay off, even if I had to kind of grind a little bit, spending that much more time putting into music. I knew was going to be worth it. And I think it was just, I may have jumped a little quicker than some would, just because that was really just the life that I wanted, was not to be just, again, like that setting and corporate situation just was really mentally draining for me. So I just knew that I was going to take a chance. You know, if I had to go pick up another side gig or something, I would. I actually did drive for Lyft for a while when I left, just to kind of ease the transition a bit.
Cool.
You know, nowadays, who knows what that's going to look like, but but that was the main factor, man, was just I had enough to go off of as far as like the weighing the risks. I knew I had income to kind of keep things moving, and yeah.
Let's I want to play a song here. Do you want me to play something like off a SoundCloud link, your website? Is there a song that you want me to play here? I would love to rummage and find something. I know we've done some stuff together, but I want to, if there's anything fresh kind of in your being right now.
Yeah, man. You can go. I don't have much on a SoundCloud, but you could go to Spotify, or even just like, it'd be easy to pull something up on the Soundstripe website too. Either of those.
Okay, let's just do that because I don't have Spotify. So,
Okay.
any particular song that you're?
Let me see.
And you can play it from your end, by the way, if you know how to do all that.
Oh, I don't really.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Let's
Just
do.
Just tell me the name of the song.
Sure. Why don't you go? Are you on the Soundstripe site?
Yeah.
So if you just go to artists,
Mhm.
and then go to Acreage, and then you can just play the one at the very top. It's just currently, it's called Soft Sound.
Acreage. How do you spell? Oh, yep, I see you. Okay, so we're all still gonna see each other. We're just going to listen to this track real quick. Yes. Okay. Just give me a thumbs up. Here we go. We'll play. It's only 2 minutes, so we'll play the whole thing.
Cool.
That was so good.
Thanks.
You said you released under Acreage is the name?
Yeah.
Dig it, man. So good.
Let's talk production a little bit, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
with that track. So so you got the great time signature. Was there a reason you wrote in that time signature, or just kind of came up, or?
Dude, it's like it's so easy to get bored, man. And like
Oh, okay.
I'm doing like I mean you guys know too if you make music a lot. Yeah, the 5/4 I was just kind of like I actually don't think I haven't done a track in 5/4 and I've made hundreds of tracks. So I was kind of like let's try something a little different. So yeah.
Cool. What microphones are you using to record your acoustic guitars? They sound so rich.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm using on that one I'm using a Warm Audio mic. I love all of Warm Audio stuff.
Okay.
And that one's their WA 47 and it's a tube condenser mic. And then usually what I'll do it kind of depends on the track, but that kind of like intimate acoustic sound they asked me to do quite a bit of those kind of tracks. So I'll actually do like a like the large condenser kind of out in front of the body, and then either like a dynamic mic or like a small condenser out in front of like the 12th fret or maybe a little past it, and then I'll just pan those left and right. So I'm pretty sure that's what I did on that one.
Do you have them facing straight, or do you have them kind of like angled anyway?
Usually they're pretty straight on, but you kind of have to get the placement of the guitar right, you know. And again, like this is an area that I'm still learning in a lot too. And so I've tried different things. Like I recently got a matched stereo pair of small condensers, so I've tried like kind of doing the XY kind of like this. I haven't noticed enough of a difference to kind of take the extra time to do that. But usually if it's two mics and I'm panning them, one's just kind of out from the body and one's kind of right on out from the 12th fret. But the one from the body, like you have to get the place. I've noticed, you know, with the placement, it can sound kind of, you get all that low end if you don't get it placed right. So it's just kind of messing around with that. But yeah. I just got also the Warm Audio. They have like a, I can't remember what model it is, but I just got their small condenser stereo pair. So I've been using those too.
So you're starting to collect a nice little cabinet of toys, huh?
Dude, yeah. And I just ordered this mic from, I don't know if you've seen these things. I think it's from AEA, because I just recently finally got a piano into our house, and it's one mic, but it's like a stereo ribbon mic. It's I can't remember the model, but it's from AEA, and it has like a matched has like a bloom line pattern like built in. So I don't know if you guys know about bloom line, but it's kind of like a XY, so that you're literally like if you put it back, especially from a piano, or they'll use it a lot on drums, but you're just getting like the full image. So I'm looking forward to trying that out.
I saw a post on your Instagram where you're playing this piano that you just got, and you look so happy. You look so I mean, I don't know, you're gone. You're not even there. Like I saw your face. I was like, dude, this guy's like so you're having a good time with your piano, huh?
Yeah, it's
Cool.
amazing. And I'm not I'm kind of a piano player now. I'm slowly getting better, but yeah, it's still so much to learn on the piano. But yeah, my wife and I've wanted to have one for years. So yeah, we're stoked.
And good for the kids too.
Yeah.
So here, let's cover a couple more things. Oh wait, one more question. And by the way, if you guys want to chime in, you guys know you can talk. You had like some snaps, but they sounded really digital, like spoons. What was the deal with all the interesting perk that was going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Those are just samples, and I've found with acoustic tracks like that, it's really nice just to get like just little elements of percussion in there that kind of just you don't a lot of times you don't necessarily know what it is. You just know that there's another element being introduced to the track, right? So it's like, especially particularly with music licensing, you know, as you're watching a video, I've just found over time that, you know, you want to, like, you gradually introduce these other elements, and that can be really effective for, you know, whatever the video may be. But those samples are by a guy named Aaron Sterling. He's a session drummer, and he, I think on Instagram, he just goes by Sterloid. He's a really funny guy, but he used to drum for like John Mayer, and he's done some bigger gigs. But during COVID, he just made this little sample pack. I think it's called the Bucket. And so it's just these literally just random things around his house that he did, like spoons and weird stuff like that. But he did like a little intimate, like those ones are from the like intimate setting. So it's like really quiet. And then he kind of like, there's ones where he put, you know, a bunch of verb on them and kind of more washed out stuff like that. So I really like using just little things of percussion in tracks like that to kind of just help keep things kind of interesting and just different.
So here, let's cover just a couple more things real quick, man. Because I know you got to go. In terms of what's helped you the most. So I know you write a lot of music, and of course you write it under a deadline, and you're getting paid, so there's that kind of pressure of like you have to perform. Yeah. What are the things that have made the difference? I don't care if it's musical related. Obviously, we should probably throw some of that in there, but like, why is this working? Why is Marshall, you know, all your various pseudonyms, groups, why is it working? Why is it moving forward? Help explain to, like, you know, the next generation, or as if you were talking to your son, you know, like, I want to know why it's working.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just a combination, man, of I really don't want I really don't want this to sound cliche, because just asking me this right now, I feel like it's very easy to give a cliche answer that sounds cliche of like the work that I've been putting in and things like that. But really what I have done over the years is I've really followed up on relationships like repetitively. And even my, you know, my like intermediate or whatever level I'm at now, as far as like production and being a producer and learning all these things, I really try to just keep good relationships with people and just kind of not, like, you know, just kind of not burn any bridges, you know. And there's been times, and I mean, Eddie knows this too, there's been times over the years where you of course have challenges with people that you're working with, and things like that. But like, just a small example would be, there was a certain period of time where I was locked into a contract. I could only work with these certain guys. And then the second that changed, I just went up and followed up with everybody that I used to work with prior to that contract. So I try to even stay in touch with those people, even when I'm not necessarily working with them, and just kind of trying to, you know, a lot of these people have become my friends, and I think that, in addition to what I say might sound cliche, is, you know, I literally have put a lot of hours into just making music and just getting tracks done. Like, if any of you like consider yourself an artist, like, it's hard to like call something done, you know, and it's hard to kind of just put it away, and maybe you're selling the track or something like that. But I've tried to make a practice too of, like, you know, what can you do in a couple of hours? Like, can you get something done? And thankfully for me, I've learned how to make that creatively fulfilling. So I hope that kind of makes sense. But yeah, it's a combination of those things.
Real quick to that point, do you have a schedule? Do you work from, or what's your flow?
I have a general day that I have, but the current cultural time of COVID has thrown that kind of off. And my wife and my son is almost 4, so he wants to play with me all day, and to make music while he's it can be hard to put yourself in the creative space, so I used to follow a schedule a little bit better when they were gone, but now, I mean, sometimes I work at night now,
Okay.
and like sometimes when there's those times I feel inspired and it might be late, and it's easier to do things that way. So I kind of mix it up.
So you adapt to everything that's going on. Okay, great. Let me open it up for just a couple quick questions here, just in case anybody has he has a lot of great music. I could spend days just on his music.
Thanks,
if
dude.
you want people to check you out, can we go to a website or something or?
Yeah, I would love that. And my website is the easiest place, just because I have multiple artist monikers currently with different people. So my website is just marshallusinger.com.
Cool.
I'll just put it here. I figured
No,
out how
no,
the
no,
chat
we
works,
we we
but
we
yeah.
got you. We'll take care of it here. We'll take care of it here.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, I got somebody here. All right.
Cool.
Please, any questions? Just if there's anything you need, now's your time.
I have a question. Hey, Marshall, my name's Todd Kessler.
Hey.
Wondering about how you kind of navigate the different monikers with different. I assume you have kind of different band names with different companies. Is that something that do the companies, are they frowning upon you having those sorts of relationships with other companies? I mean, how do you navigate that, exclusive, non-exclusive, etc.?
Yeah. So when I got started, I had my moniker is called Be Still the Earth, and that was like a name that I had been using. And so when I got into licensing, I just continued to use it. And over time, the reason I created these different ones was just kind of for different genres, so that I could kind of start like having catalogs of different genres, right? And so the two, so I have Acreage, the song that we listened to, and this other moniker, those are actually exclusive to this library. And just based on that was like when I was creating that music was with them. So my main artist thing, Be Still the Earth, like it's, I've had discussions with that. I wouldn't say it's like, they don't love it, but I try as best I can to just go into non-exclusive agreements. And I mean, that is what has allowed me to kind of, that's what has allowed me to do this, was just getting my music as many places as I could, as many
so most of your stuff
as I could.
So most of your stuff is non-exclusive.
Most of it is, except for the time, like I was in a my contract with this library lasted probably 2.5 years, where I was only creating content with them, but I had kind of a large catalog built up before that, and then now I'm doing non-exclusive stuff again. So I try to keep it non-exclusive if I can. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Can I ask what's your reasoning for that? Or you just don't want it to be tied down to one thing, or?
Yeah, man. I mean, especially like this, like COVID is a perfect example of that too, is that was actually what loosened up this contract that I was on. And, thankfully I had kind of some other things going. And I mean, that's a bit of a story too, but I cold emailed like probably 20 to 40 just libraries or like music supervisors that I found online, just cold emailed a bunch of guys, sent them my resume and what I had done, and because I really needed to get some extra work. But I think these guys that I was working with realized, like, they couldn't, like, that was basically the main source of my income, and then they kind of cut our pay when COVID and everything went down. So I do non-exclusive in case one thing falls through. I still have all these other sources coming in, and I'm trying to also do, passive income where you just have your music on the library and you're just generating, whether it's a monthly or quarterly, generating income from that. So that's kind of what I'm trying to build build up to over time.
And
Yeah,
what are some of those sites that you do like non-exclusive on?
So the ones that I've been with the longest are Artlist, and then I recently just and I have like let's see, I've recently been put on a couple. One is yeah, that's right, Artlist. I have a lot of non-exclusive music on more sites that, you know, they're like, one is called Story Blocks. Their sub music site is called Audio Blocks. So these things are like big stock, you know, stock library sites. They just have a ton of music on them, right? And another one is called Motion Array. They do like film stuff too. And let's see, Triple Scoop Music is another one.
So how does your music perform so well? How do you stand so like head and shoulders above the rest? Is it just because your music has a unique kind of bend to it, like it's you?
Um,
Because there's a lot of
this is
artists on all those sites. So
yeah, this is a hard, yeah, man, this is a hard question because I try to tell, I mean, my own personal, like, the music that I really like and like to make is music that has kind of like a inspiring and kind of emotional feel to it. And I think that that's a lot of reasons that it does well than just, for example, maybe like a techno or hip hop artist would do, because it's much easier to use my music in wedding videos and nonprofit videos and stuff like that. And so the music that I make generally does great with that type of thing, and that's a huge part of these guys' audience. So I think that's kind of why, yeah, that's, and of course too, I have a large, you know, I probably have at least 100 songs on on some of these sites. So that, and when you're constantly putting your energy into that, you know, you continue to build those numbers up, and it starts to get consistent and kind of even increase over time. So yeah,
it's like I say, like, look, I may not be the best, but they're not gonna know because I've got so many songs. I'm inundating them with so much stuff. They're gonna have to pick my track because every
that's
single
right.
time you search, it's like Eddie Gray or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's cover two more things here real quick. Um,
Yeah.
we talked about, without getting too detailed, kind of some of the more challenging parts of the business. If you could give some advice, do's, do not do's. This is more kind of technical. Is there anything that you would recommend to some of these folks here in terms of contracts or things like that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, again, just from my experience, my best advice would be to own all your songs if you can. I'm still in an arrangement where I don't own the songs in the end, but if it helps my situation in the short term. So I'm kind of continuing that relationship, and you know, you're signing off the tracks over to these guys, and that can be great if you're getting paid consistently. My best advice though would be to kind of just own your tracks, try and own the publishing on your tracks if you can, because that's what you're going to see in the long term. I would definitely say don't get involved with content ID or YouTube content ID in any way. I would say stay away from that. I've had very bad experience with that. Are you familiar with like content ID, YouTube monetization?
Yeah. Remember I told you to stay away from that. I told you to stay away from that.
Yeah, don't do anything with that. It's especially if you're working with libraries, it's not a good look for sure. So I learned that the hard way. But yeah, my best advice is, you know, if your songs, like I'm looking at that as my retirement. You know, you're like, you continue doing this for 10, 20 years. I mean, you could have thousands of songs and you're getting the publishing and things like that just over time. So that's my best advice. But there's certainly times that I've had little projects pop up here and there where, like you mentioned, the hard times, Eddie. I mean, these last few months, like I've had projects pop up where maybe like a marketing company, you know, they want to buy like 5 songs. They just want to buy 5 songs from you outright. And that's great. That's like supplementing, you know, maybe a slow time, or you know, you had some project like a contract end or something like that. So when the situation calls for it, it's awesome. But yeah, in the big picture, I would just say try and own your stuff and just keep making as much of it as you can.
Very cool. And I only got one more, and then if anybody wants another one, just please chime in here. So my last thing here is just uh, you seem very dedicated and not distracted by a lot of things. I don't want to put a number on it, but let's just call it like 90-10, or 95% of your attention is on your goals, your aspirations. I mean, since I've known you, right? Because when I first met you, from what I remember, you were kind of just getting this thing going, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
More or less, yeah. And then you hit that,
Yes.
and then we did a bunch of stuff together. Okay. And so um I guess what I want to ask you is it your commitment to it, or do you feel like you were just destined to do this? Because I feel like there's people who sometimes feel like I'm not good enough. And
Mm.
so what I'm curious is, like, there are times when we all do not feel like we're good enough. Let's just be completely clear, and transparent here, right? So how do you get past that moment of, I can't do this? Like maybe this is not for me. Like, how did you climb that mountain, man? Because I find it fascinating that people will be so courageous, like they'll be so
Mm.
perseverant to, in spite of the difficulty, in spite of the challenges, in spite of external circumstances, they still move forward. So what can you say about that? Like, moving forward no matter what. Like, how did you do it?
Mm-hmm. There there have been times where it's been hard to not say that I want to throw in the towel, but there were times where I maybe thought I was going to get maybe a certain gig or like land a certain position, or because I was, comparing myself to peers or guys that I was working with or looking up to. And I think that's like that's the hardest game, is the comparison thing, because it's just so easy to get caught up and discouraged in that, and you thinking like you're supposed to be doing something or you're not doing something. So I don't know, really, in those hard times, like I've really just been able to I've had great relationships with friends and peers who I've got to know who are doing this, who are able to just kind of get me out of that. I would definitely say, like, this being a thing that I do this in my basement at home. I mean, I don't go to a studio or anything. So that's a reason that I try to have some sense of community, because it can get really easy to just be lonely. And especially in those harder times, like, it's easy to get caught up in your head with those things. So man, I just think it's knowing that this is really what I want to do. I mean, it's what I love to do. I love making music. I mean, there's nothing that I would rather be spending my time doing, in the day to day, and it's fulfilling to me. It helps me in the end. Like, this is the life that I want to have. So I think at the end of the day, even in those dark moments, it's kind of like I try to learn something from it. I know that there's always something that I can learn, even if it's a hard experience of someone telling me, we're going to pass on this for this project, or something that might in the moment seem really intense. I try to take those things and learn from them, and just as well as learning from friends and guys who have been doing this, like Eddie too. I'm always reaching out and just being like, hey, what would you do if you were me? Or, is this normal? Or am I being too emotional? I'm an emotional guy, so it's like, it's normal for me at this point. Yeah, man, it's this is knowing that, like, this is, I feel so blessed to have, like, got to this place, and just so grateful to be here and be like, wow, I can support my family doing this. In the really challenging, difficult times, I just know that I believe that there's a way. Like, I believe that it's kind of been I've proved to myself that I can do it, you know. So it's kind of like you have to power through that, knowing that there's still a way through. Even if something you thought it was going to be a certain way, it's not. There's still a way through. You just have to kind of believe that and stay focused, and sometimes really stay focused, especially when it comes to being creative, knowing you still have to make music. But I think that's what's got me through the difficult times of it.
Wow. Well, I know that definitely spoke to me, and I know that spoke to a lot of us here. I just want to open it up for one more question. If you want to ask it, now's your time. Go
I
ahead.
I mean, real quick, I don't know if so you were saying like try to own your music as best as you can, and I think like anything I've done to this date I don't really own right now. Like I'm kind of operating under the when I first started as an artist, I own everything, but it never saw the light of day. And so now I'm like giving everything away, you know, because I guess I'm trying to operate under the pretext like it's not going to be the last thing I write, you know. There's a well that's infinite if you allow it to be. And I guess at what point, how do you make that switch of like ownership, or how do you decide like what's to hold on to and what not? You know, I don't know. You know what I mean? Is it making
Dude,
sense?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and that's really tough. I mean, so do you mind if I ask, when you say that you don't own most of the stuff, are you writing for other artists, or kind of what are you doing that when you say you don't own it?
Well, I like, you know, submit, you know, just submitting with people or like giving it to libraries, you know, that are exclusive, or, you know, and I guess in that sense you own the writers, right? But you don't own the publishing if you sign, like, so things like that. And
Gotcha.
like I want to get my foot in the door, like anybody. I think that's just sometimes I've accepted that that's like part of the path. And I guess like I was curious if that was when you were starting out, if that's how it was, and at what point do you like stand on your own 2 feet, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's actually not been until very recently that I've really struggled with the things that I want to, like, you know, own or keep to myself and not sign over to a library. So because when I first kind of got moving, I was just so stoked. I just didn't care really. I was just, whatever I was making, I was just sending it. Didn't really matter if it was exclusive or not.
That's my take right now too. Like I'm just happy to be getting it out there. So it's just like take it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, right now, and I definitely think of myself as more of a, like, I have the fast moving doing music for libraries, but then I'm also there's music that I've created that I really love, and I just will, when it comes to that music specifically, I really just try to keep it I just try to only release it to a non-exclusive library, because that is still where I'm seeing income, and then I'm not you know, I'm not signing anything over to them. So like Artlist would be an example of, they don't own anything of the track when you send it to them. They're licensing it, so they take a portion of that, and then you still own the publishing and everything like that. So if you're in the situation like you said, like there are those times where I had to make that decision for me, that, you know, I had to take this exclusive agreement, and for 2.5 years I had to make music only that I was giving away. Like, and some of those songs that I gave away, man, like I'm you know, some of that I think was the best music I've like ever made, some of those pieces. And so it's hard to, you're like, well, at the end of the day, you know, it's like, it can be hard if you dwell on that, but it's still out there. Like, you know, these guys own it. It's still out there. But I think you just have to look at that place that you're in, and kind of be like, well, how is this helping me? What's going to help me reach my goal, you know? And if it's doing exclusive stuff right now and guys are paying for your music, then that's awesome. And hopefully over time, you kind of, maybe on the side, you start building up a catalog of stuff that you own. And then it's like, okay, now I have 50 songs that I own that I can do something with, because I've kind of got this other consistent thing going. But that's always been a struggle for me, man. And I still, I still do struggle with that, just with you kind of get attached to certain things, and it's like in the moment you don't know, like, do I want to send this off or not? So yeah, there's a balance though to it for sure. Does that help kind of?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, Marshall, it was so great to have you on, and I don't spend enough time with you, so I'm glad that even in this capacity we get to chill and talk a little bit. It's so amazing to see you grow and soar the way you have. I'm inspired by your story, man. So thank you. I'm so glad that you're doing well and your family's doing well during this time. And cool, man. I'll let you say any parting words, and we'll call it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And it's really, I mean, it's awesome to see that you're doing this, by the way, because I've known that you've been doing this, but it's awesome to see it. And my only parting words is, if you guys are really, you know, if you're really wanting to make music, you know, you're wanting to make some extra income, or you're doing it because you love making music, or you want to make it a career, like, there's definitely a way. I really think, make it a rhythm of creating and being yourself and putting the time and energy into it, and you'll definitely see those little changes over time. And you can feel free to hit me up. Like, there's a contact me on my website there. So I'm happy to talk about anything more specific or help out. If there's any like other lingering questions, just feel free to reach out.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, hey, man, thank you. I'll reach out to you again. Have a wonderful Saturday.
Cool.
Thank you guys very much. Marshall, we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Marshall.
Take care.
Thanks, Marshall.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're going to call it. I will see you guys on Monday for Logic training. If you guys need anything, hit us up. Have a wonderful Saturday. Take care of
See you, Eddie.
yourselves.
Bye.
Bye. Stay up. Stay up.